problem with Ben Simmons is the fact that, like we mentioned, he doesn't shoot anymore. And so what does he do well at this point? He's good at passing.
Yeah.
That's what you're good at now. You're passing and rebounding. At that point, if you're going to be paying somebody a max contract, they got to do more than rebound.
Yeah.
Because you know who else can rebound? Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's a league minimum player at this point.
Destroying it.
Passing. You know who else can pass? Rajon Rondo.
Yeah.
Rajon Rondo. Guess what he can do? Be paid $3 million to play basketball. But Ben Simmons, we're talking about $40 million. And no offense, I mean, I don't want to dig into Ben Simmons too hard because, like we mentioned, depression. I'm not going to shit on somebody for taking time for themselves and, going through that particular thing. But at the same time, the way he handled his exit in Philly was the bitchiest thing I've ever seen any person do.
Right.
Philly fans, if you want to go after somebody, go after Ben Simmons. It makes absolute sense because basically the timeline for him in Philly was just play awful in that series. And then everyone in Philly, because they're assholes, because they are just brutal, obviously they roast him because he scored 5 points in a game. 5. He averaged 7 points in that round.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, he goes through this whole ordeal. He's like, no, I can never play in Philly again. It's like, have some fucking balls, please. Where's the competitive spirit? After Philly, Philly's going to be stinky. Of course they are. It's Philadelphia. I mean, their entire city stinks. Of course they stink. So then at that point, it's like, okay, you gotta face the music. And then he gets demanded to go to the Nets. Still, I can't. And it's a little ridiculous.
I have back soreness.
What
does that mean? That's the ultimate bullshit injury. It's like, oh, he has back soreness tonight. Okay, load management. That's the ultimate load management phrase. Like, oh, tweak his back. Needs to chill out a little bit. But like, sometimes when your back is sore and my lower back will bother me, and sometimes it's because I haven't worked out and I haven't been moving like I should in the past few days. And then once you start to do that, it starts to put your body back together. So maybe it's avoiding physical activity. And then the thing with Ben Simmons also is you had Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Robert Covington, Jimmy Butler, JJ Redick, and Ben Simmons all on one team. And you guys never made the conference championship. And it was his fault. Solely his fault because he's a point guard who can't shoot. And then Joel Embiid would run out of gas and get tired. But you still had Jimmy Butler on that team. And you still had JJ Redick, where Joel Embiid was the second scorer on that team to Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler was fine just handing the ball off to Joel Embiid when he needed to too. But you had a guy who could go out there and get you a bucket. Tobias Harris, also someone who just disappears in the playoffs. He's one of those guys who's always thrown around in trade packages, but kind of disappears. But overall, Ben Simmons has to take responsibility for not working on his free throw. I mean, that's a huge problem. That's something like you can work on that. You have access to the best trainers in the world. And then saying that, oh yeah, Philadelphia, I can never play there again. It's like, dude, you suck though. Like, it was your fault. You lost to Atlanta. You couldn't guard Trae Young, and Trae Young was cooking you the whole time. It's like, how do you have Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons when he's playing point guard, and you lose to Atlanta when you guys were up 3-1?
Yeah.
And you guys just got tired and ran out of gas, and that was all your fault. I get there's the whole combination too with him beefing with Doc Rivers, and he didn't like him. Doc Rivers wasn't a fan of Ben Simmons, kind of threw him under the bus at the playoff series. But like, I hate when players complain that coaches throw them under the bus, or the media's like, oh, you shouldn't throw your player under the bus. Like, why? Like, he was awful.
Yeah, literally. If Ben Simmons could play like he played all season prior, they would have won. Yeah. They would have won in 5.
Yeah.
But instead, he refuses to shoot. He went up for a layup, refused to shoot it, just gave it to Embiid. And it was just like, it was pathetic. And now at this point, he's probably the most pathetic player in the NFL, in the NBA.
Yeah.
So that's enough harping on Ben